Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is Matt, or Odin, X, whatever you want to say, or the Great Houdini, alright? Houdini, get it? Because Odin. Some people didn't realize that, like, it's Odin in that. It's a nice pun that someone came up with that I really appreciate. But yeah, so if you have any questions over specific things I mentioned in this video, feel free to message me in-game. Try to answer as much mail as possible. I still got a little bit more to go through. From my trip. I actually just came back from vacation. So, yeah, just letting you guys know. But as the title suggests, alright, also you'll notice I got some new toys this event, as well as that guy. Let's talk about Aibrean, or Aibrean. I've heard a couple people say Aibrean. I've seen Aibrean. I've seen Arbon. I've seen Aereo. It was like Aerobon or something like that. Aerobron or something. Any of those, honestly, I don't care. It's like, I mean, pronunciation is great and all, but if you've been a viewer of this channel for a while, you'll know that I don't take too many precautions with my pronunciation. All right. So let's talk about his spells really quick. All right. We got Spring Renewal, which, guys, Healing Mark runes do not work with Spring Renewal. All right. That's been asked a lot. If the name of the rune does not exactly match the spell, it will not work, alright? So don't be putting a bunch of Healing Mark runes on him because it will not work. Flash. Cloak is not Flash, and Flash is not Cloak. So Cloak runes will not work with Flash. Chaos. There are Chaos runes out there. Tengu had Chaos as well, and I'm really jealous I didn't get Tengu now because... I'm really jealous of people who got Tengu because now they have a Mythic Chaos. Uno problemo, or one problem with that is, Chaos runes actually do nothing for him. There's a glitch where Chaos runes actually do nothing at all. So I wouldn't necessarily start putting it on him just yet. I would prioritize things like, Wisdom to try and level him up faster, and then replace it once the fix or the bug, basically the patch for it comes out in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, you got Fire Flak, which I believe there are runes for. I believe, like in previous seasons, we have had some Fire Flak resists glyphs and runes. So you can, have a rune for that. But basically, 3 out of these 4 spells don't have runes that you can get other than the line. Alright? So, that's his spells. This is my current setup. Now, please note that there's 3 wisdom runes / glyphs on him. That's because I had to get him up to Obsidian within the first night. I had him to Obsidian within the first 6 hours of him being out. Partially because of these wisdom glyphs. But if I were you guys, the deal with Aibrean is that his spell Spring Renewal gives him so much rage. I actually don't think that giving him a ton of rage will help him as much as other things could. I would argue that actually having the epic Rune of Renewal on him is actually more beneficial than rage, because the healing is going to keep you alive, and if you let's say you are able to live a little bit longer to gain a little bit of rage, then you can use that Spring Renewal and get even more health back, but also get that 2 rage. And that spell is so good, there's no reason why you shouldn't be using it. If there's a monument and you have 1 rage, you better be using that spell. There's no reason not to. You get a free rage and health from it. It's actually such a nice spell. So yeah, I would argue that rage isn't as necessary on this guy, in my opinion at least. Maybe have 1 legendary rage glyph or something like that. Because everybody has, legendary rage glyphs just sitting everywhere. But you could put a little bit of rage. I don't think necessarily he needs a bunch of it, though. But I would prioritize his legendary Rune of Renewal and his mythic, because those 2, regardless, are necessary. That Spring Renewal cooldown should be -1 second, not plus. And that's, it's super important, because if you can reduce that cooldown, it directly correlates to getting more rage and more health. Same thing, with the legendary. It doesn't have the modifier, but you're going to get more health. And it's all about, especially with hunters, keeping them alive, because they have a lot of damage, but they don't have a lot of health. So you gotta keep healing them. That's why I would argue that having that epic Rune of Renewal on him is debatably worth it. I personally am probably going to do that. I understand some people don't like putting epics. They just like, legendary and mythic runes on their divines. That's okay. Not everyone can do that, though. So that's my personal plan for runes. Now, glyphs. This is where I would say you can put, like, honestly, anything with a little bit of rage. Or chaos. Again, well, of course, guys, if you have chaos runes, I would say, let's say you have a legendary or mythic chaos rune, not glyph. So instead of having the epic spring renewal rune, you would put that with the legendary rune of renewal. I would argue that the legendary rune of renewal is like must have on this guy. And then you have, a mythic chaos or just have the epic legendary rune of renewal. I don't think rage again is necessary. Now for the glyphs, again, I think mythic and then you have your chaos if you have it, or if you don't have chaos, really anything with modifiers of rage. And what I mean by that is if you look at my glyphs, I have a legendary wisdom and an epic wisdom. If you look underneath the experience gain plus 11% on the legendary wisdom, there's a second thing called rage generation plus 3.9%. That is called a secondary modifier. Now, you could really use any rune on this guy that has a secondary modifier of rage. That includes rejuvenate, invert, reverse projectiles, wisdom. All those have secondary modifiers of rage generation. Any of those would work on this guy. It's not a huge priority to get a lot of rage. And I wouldn't necessarily waste a ton of insanely good runes on this guy. Because remember, as soon as level 65 towers come out, this guy is obsolete. If you're higher level, this guy's going to become obsolete very, very quickly. That's why I'm not going to be putting like a mythic rage on him or anything like that. At most, a legendary rage, I think. But, don't get me wrong. He's a good dragon. But in the end of the day, he's going to become obsolete anyway. Even if you're a lower level, he's still going to become obsolete at some point or another. So don't put your best runes on him just yet. But again, I do like him. I think that he's a good dragon to have. And I think in terms of, runes, it's pretty self-explanatory, but people do want to hear the reasoning and all that. So I really do appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. A lot of new players are watching these videos, which is awesome. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.